Hey there, welcome to the second devlog of the still untitled Barcade game I'm working on. So it's been a couple weeks since we last looked at this, so let's just jump in and take a look at what's new. So the first thing that you might notice is that Kid Ninja's head has changed. So I had a little time to draw in a new head last night and added it to a bunch of the animations, not all of them. As you can see, our attack animation still has the old head, but that's fine. We'll get a lot more of that in the polish stage. But another big thing that's changed about Kid Ninja is he has more attacks. So in the previous video, basically hitting the attack button just did this and drew a circle around the character to try and hit anything. But I have implemented an animation-based attack controller that allows for a number of attacks. So we have a new attack on the ground without moving the stick, an attack on the ground with moving the stick, and when I say moving the stick, I mean left and right. Just X matters because the only thing that going up and down does is allows you to fast fall. So yeah, we have a grounded option for standing still, grounded option for moving, and then the same thing in the air. So aerial option for not moving, and then area option, this one might be hard to see because it's just for using the jab for right now. Aerial in a direction. So what this is going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to pretty simply reuse the character controller for different characters in the game, and then just replace each one of those scripts with a new kind of animation script, and then all we have to do is make the new animations, make the new scripts, and we should be able to create new characters pretty simply like that. Keeping it to just 4 moves too helps to keep the total number of frames that I have to draw for each character down. As you can see, I mean there's already a decent amount on just this guy, and I only have, I think, 6 animations on him right now. But yeah, so there is that. The second thing is that we've updated the game manager to control minigames. So I think that in the future we're actually going to update this to the minigame scripts to be kind of its own thing. But for right now, it's kind of included in the game manager just to kind of get this stuff in. The minigames at this point are just, oops, that's a fun bug. The minigames at this point are just stubbed in so that I can kind of get a sense of what that's going to be and how that system can work. And then from there we'll make it better. So this is mecha boxing, where one of the players in the team jumps into the portal, gets into the mech, and has to fight the other mech on the other team, or I think if the other team doesn't jump in, probably gonna have like a building or something that the mech has to knock down, and that's how you win that minigame. And so you win that one just by mashing the buttons. Just right now, it just counts to 50, and once you hit the buttons 50 times, it wins that one for you. And then this one is the genie games, the other minigame. I'm glad that they popped up like this. Right now, it's just selecting randomly from the minigames that are on the game manager script. But yeah, it's this one. You're attempting to knock the lamp into the genie, and if you hit him enough times, I'm really bad at this one, especially because my attacks are a little bit off now, because I haven't finished that. If you knock the lamp into the genie enough times, your team wins. So what happens if you win minigames? Well, right now, not much. That's something I want to work on in the near future. Oh, I'll get in there. Oops, I am on the other team. So right now what happens if you win minigames is your points increase from 5. They just go up by 2 every time you win a minigame. So you see that goal is worth 7 points rather than 5. And if I were to switch over to the other character and win a game for his team, I would, you know, I'm not going to be able to win against the genie one. It's hard right now. That's what balance is for. If I were to win that minigame, the score would increase for that team as well. So that's one of the big things I want to attack after I finish the player attack animations for Kid Ninja, to, you know, at least a place where I feel comfortable with it, and, you know, where all of them actually have hitboxes and are doing things. I want to work on adding different bonuses that are more gameplay affected rather than just like adding points. So I want to do something like maybe the goal is like a magnet for a couple minutes or things like that. And I also want to make them time based. Right now they just kind of happen. But again, they're just kind of stubbed in the mini games just to get them in there and kind of begin to understand how that system was going to work. So that is kind of what we got for the mini games. Another kind of thing about the if you can see, every time I'm hitting this, so if I were to just do my roll, I just kind of roll through, but I also stubbed in a little system. Oops, hey, we're just stuck on the falling animation because we haven't hit the ground yet technically. Another thing that we've kind of put in is if you hit an object during one of your attacks, it'll actually freeze you and the object, just for like a small period of time. It's actually determined on the attack itself, but we'll see if we stick with that. And what that is going to be used in conjunction with some nice little FX to give the hits some more weight to them. I mean, right now it just feels weird because all we're doing is stopping the animation for both of these things, but once we add in like some noise effects and some visual effects, it should start to look a little bit better, just feel a little bit better too. So yeah, that's kind of all that's in the game visually right now, but I want to just jump into the code a little bit and preface this by saying this is all really sloppy, but just looking at the attack manager really quick. So the attack manager is just attached to each player, and we have our enum of attack inputs. These are the 4 inputs that we have. Basically, what happens is from the player controller, we can call this start attack with an int of the input. The player controller currently is handling the parsing of inputs into, you know, kind of like, okay, well, you hit X, you have your X at, you know, 0.7 and you hit attack. What does that mean? So it determines inside of itself, oh, well, that means I need to do attack 3 because I'm on the ground and I did this thing. So you can pass that into this attack manager, which also sits on the player, and it'll go through all of the different attack script, or it'll go to the attack script that corresponds to that input, and it will activate it, and then it's going to set the animation trigger for that action. So if we look at the animation, let's pull up our player here. Let's look at our scene. So if we pull up the animation, there's now events within our animations, so we can activate different parts of our attack. We can change our, if you look here, we can change our colliders. I'm going to pop this open so you can see it. So yeah, as we can do hitbox on a frame-by-frame basis if we want to. And we could obviously update different colliders to do different things. I'm probably going to keep it pretty simple and probably try to just have 1 collider per attack, but some might require more. That's fine. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And then at the end of each animation, we can call this end attack script, which exists on the attack manager, to just say, okay, I'm done attacking, and it'll tell the player controller, hey, you can act, and if I stopped your movement, so during the dash attack, we actually stop the player's movement and then move them based on the dash speed of the attack, so it actually move faster. If you'll notice, you'll move faster than you do normally running. So there's my normal run, and then when I do the dash attack, it'll move me. So if I right now I'm just flicking the stick and the button at the same time, and it's actually moving me forward. So I have the ability to control player movement during attacks, and I have the ability to, again, kind of control everything I want to inside of that attack animation through this method. So I'm pretty happy with where this is at. I just need to kind of fully flesh it out, because right now, you know, the dash is pretty good because that's the one I literally just finished working on. The nair is okay, has a little touching up that needs to happen on it, but the Jab and Fair don't actually have anything on them at all, but that's fine. We'll clean that up and add some stuff in there later. But yeah, so I think that this system will serve me pretty well in being able to create a bunch of different characters without having to do too much work in order to kind of customize and make those guys unique. So all we need to do is we need to make a new animation for each attack, which we'd have to do anyway, and then we can attach our different events and scripts to them. You can see on here that I have the Kid Ninja, Nair, Fair, Dash, and Jab scripts right here, but all the rest of this stuff should pretty much be the same. And then these items right here, in conjunction with being able to put on these custom scripts to do the custom moves, these items right here will let me kind of tweak the physics of that character in a way that that makes it so the characters can feel unique. Again, just trying to keep everything as generic as possible. There's a lot of things in here that need to get cleaned up, like we have a hitbox layer on the player controller, and we also have the same attack layer mask on the attack manager, but the attack layer mask isn't working because I was having trouble figuring that out right now. But a lot of things need to get cleaned up, and if you look, I started with this insane let's see, I've cleaned it up in a lot of the scripts I've been working on recently. Let's open up something that I haven't worked on in a minute. I started with this insane methodology of naming all my private variables with underscores for some reason, instead of just lowercase and uppercase for private and public. So this is insane, and I am undoing that as I continue to work on through my scripts. So yeah, again, it's sloppy right now, but that's fine. The player controller was getting a lot out of hand. It's a little less out of hand now that the attack manager is on its own, but I will be going through this as I'm kind of touching and cleaning up Kid Ninja to feel good, going through the rest of the player controller and making sure that that is kind of cleaned up and good from a code perspective, at least a little more right now. Not, it's not going to be perfect, but cleaned up a little more. But yeah, so that's where we're sitting at after the second devlog, probably about a month and a half to 2 months into the project. And I really should have checked when I started this guy, but I'm pretty happy with where we are, where we're sitting. I got to get this in, get these attacks down and get this in front of some more people, see how they feel about that. But otherwise, I'm just gonna keep cranking away. So yeah, thanks for watching again, even again if it's just me, and I'll catch you next time.